Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Pamela Thomas. Cheri Schuler-Faust is going to give the presentation today. Where's Waldo? Cataloging maps. So take it away, Cheri.
Hi, everyone. As Pam said, this is Cheri Schuler-Faust. And sorry, my computer made that big noise. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about cataloging maps. So let's get on with it. So this is just what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the definition of cartographic materials and what cartographic materials are. We're going to go over some of the unique fixed field elements and the specific MARC tags for cartographic materials. And then we're going to take a look at a fold-out map for Builder Big City map. So this is the definition of cartographic work from the RDA toolkit, which I think is a little bit academic. It says a work that is realized as a cartographic data set, a cartographic image, a cartographic moving image, a cartographic tactile image, a cartographic tactile three-dimensional form, or a cartographic three-dimensional form. So we have the RDA definition of cartographic material, and it gives us a broader description of cartographic material, allowing for imaginary places and a broader description of the categories of cartographic materials. Then the Library of Congress's scope of cataloging cartographic materials is the spatial data presented graphically in the form of maps, atlases, globes, and three-dimensional maps and terrain models. Then we also have a definition from Britannica for just cartography. It's the art and science of graphically representing a geographical area, usually on a flat surface, such as a map or chart. It may involve the superimposition of political, cultural, or other geographic, something happened to or other geographic subdivisions into the representation of a geographic area. So first, we're going to look at some of the different fixed field elements that are uniquely present in the map format. Specifically, type, which is the type of record, CRTP, which is the type of cartographic material, projection, or the PROJ, and RELF, which is for relief, and SPFM, which is a special format characteristics. So let's look at a type of record. So maps will be coded with E for the format name, Maps Cartographic Material. If you have a manuscript of a cartographic material, you could code this with an F. Manuscript would be something that was probably more handwritten. And I don't know how many maps we have of those, but you do code it differently. So the type of cartographic material is coded for the cartographic item that is being described. Most commonly are a single map and atlas. However, you may be cataloging an actual globe, a map series, or even a map serial. There are other options, so make sure you code this fixed field properly for the item in hand. So projection is a method or system used to represent the surface of the earth or a celestial sphere on a plane in an expression. There are 4 categories of projection with subcategories to choose from. Azimuthal is an angular measurement in a spherical coordinate system. Cylindrical projection is any of numerous map projections of the telestial sphere on the surface of a cylinder that is then unrolled as a plane. Conic is used to refer to any projection in which meridians are mapped to equally spaced lines radiating out from the apex, and circles of latitude parallels are mapped to circular arcs centered on the apex. Relief. Relief is the variations in the elevation of the ground surface. It also features of height above a plane or reference datum. On a relief map, relief is depicted by hatchers or shading, or more accurately by contours or by spot elevations, or it could be both. And I got this definition from Caliver.com, the glossary, what is a relief map? So the special format characteristics are pretty self-explanatory and certainly demonstrate some interesting ways to present maps. I think it would be fun to do the puzzle, and we've all seen maps of puzzles, especially for the little guys. And the wall maps you probably have seen in catalog before. I think a postcard would be fun to catalog, and I've never done playing cards, but that would be interesting as well. So there are different ways that you can different types of maps that you can catalog. The variable fields that are unique to maps are the 007 specifically for maps, the 034 for coded cartographic material data, the 052 for geographic classification, the 255 for the statement of cartographic mathematical data, the 334 for mode of issuance, and 340 for physical medium. Of course, there's also those specific 33X fields that pertain to cartographic materials. Excuse me. The 007 is a required field in cataloging cartographic materials. And of course, it has its own unique subfields for the category of material, which would be A for map. You would need to ascertain the specific material designation, color, the physical medium, and the type of reproduction, the production or geographic details, and as well as positive, negative aspects if applicable. So MARC code 034 for coded cartographic mathematical data. This has indicators that you need to consider based on the scale and the type of ring if applicable. The 034 is based on information recorded in MARC tag 255 and can be generated using the OCL macro for 034. This macro can be found in the main toolbar under Tools, Macros, Manage, Generate 034. So still on the 034, once again, this is based on the information that is in MARC tag 255. The category of scale will always be recorded in subfield A. The linear, horizontal, and vertical scales should be recorded in subfields B and C if applicable, as well as the coordinates if available. The coordinates will display the longitude and latitudes in subfield D and through G. So MARC tag 052 is the geographic classification code. To find the appropriate code, you will need to consult the Library of Congress classification Class C and the geographic cutter numbers. The classification code is recorded in subfield A, and the cutter is in subfield B. And if you go to Bib Formats and Standards, underneath the 052, the hyperlinks to these PDFs to find the classification in Class G, and the cutter numbers are hyperlinks so you can go to them. So the 255 is basically a statement of the scale found on your map. I've listed several possibilities. Based on what you record in the 255, the MARC tag 034 coded form versus the written statement is generated, as we discussed. So the first three, scale not given, scales different, and scale varies, you would just, in the 255, you would just have in subfield A, just A, because you have no coordinates, no how far the, what the area of the map is. So that would just be one subfield. It would be subfield A, just have an A. If you had some other information, then it would be coded differently based on the information that you have in the, this would be what would code in the 034 based on this information in your 255. Okay, MARC tag 344, which is mode of issuance. MARC tag 344 was added to MARC 21 in June of 2021, and OCLC implemented it in September of 2021. Both indicators are undefined, and at this point, only subfield A is used, indicating whether you have a single unit or a multiple unit. The 340, the physical medium. So although we've used the 340 in other formats, it's a relatively new tag and just updated last December. The MARC tag 340 contains information found in other MARC tags such as the 007, the 008, and the 300. So now we're going to look at our map since we've discussed all the various differences from map formats as related to other formats. So this is a folded map. It's a Billerbeck City map. This map is for the city of Billerbeck in Germany. Billerbeck is in the North Rhine-Westphalia area of Germany, and the map is in German. So this is the view of the online catalog record, and this is in Polaris. Notice that the information in MARC tag 340 displays under description. However, MARC tag 334 does not display in the online record since it hasn't been added to the tables. Your ILS may have added the 344 to your table, so you may have a display, but Polaris has not done that as of yet. So this is the OC record of our map. It displays all the codes for maps that we have talked about and the appropriate subfields. As you can see, the free-floating subdivision maps is used with the appropriate subject headings. Also added are several genre form headings, along with the more generic term maps. There are 44 other possible terms for maps that describe specific types of maps, such as fire insurance maps, pictorial maps, upside-down maps, etc. These are the specific fixed field entries in our map, Billerbeck City map. Our map did not specify a specific projection or relief, nor does it fit into any of the special format characteristic choices. So that's why those three tags in the fixed field are blank, because the rules are that if you don't have one of the formats, then you leave this blank. Okay, now let's look at the unique variable fields for our map. So far, our map display, the 007 is, it's a map in color made of paper with the type of reproduction not applicable. The production reproduction as is marked as other, and the positive negative aspect as not applicable. The MARC tag 034 is just coded for subfield A map, since MARC tag 255 states that the scale is not given. This map is a single unit, which is evident by the tag 334, and the multiple 340s display the characteristics of the material size, color, and the fact that it's a double-sided map. So you can see that these 340s also can be seen either in the 007 or the 03, I'm sorry, 300, and some of the fixed field. So these are the resources that I used for this presentation. And these are the people that are on our call today: myself, Heidi Margold, Dr. Pamela Thomas, Ian Anderson, and Eric McKinney. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them now, and one of us will be able to answer them for you.
Sorry. Hi, this is Pam again. So I've allowed everybody to unmute themselves if they want to. We've got somebody put in the chat 007 and 344. Do they coordinate?
The 007 and the 334?
They put the 344. You might want to check your slide, that mode of issuance. I don't know if it was on the slide itself or the notes, because the numbers were flipped, I think.
Three, 4.
Yeah, but in your notes, you were saying you were saying 344, I think.
Now I have 334, so.
Okay, all right. So you just
What
messed
I,
up. That's
what I
okay.
said and what I have maybe two
I
different.
know, I
I'm
know.
sorry.
Nope,
I meant
you're fine.
334.
You are fine. Okay, so the question is 007 and 3, it should be 334. Do they coordinate? I think the last slide, 340 I meant, the 007 and the 340. Do they coordinate? Okay.
Oh, okay, I can't see the question. Yeah, some of the things here, let's go to that.
Yeah, maybe that, yeah, that
Oh,
last one.
too many,
Nope,
sorry.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
the first one, paper, that's not really reflected anywhere. It's just that a map is paper. And then the second one in the subfield B, that coordinates what's in your subfield C in the 300. So the subfield E paper also really isn't, it's just what it is. And then in the 340G, we do have color, which is also in the 300. And the K is not, it's not in anything. It's just, that's what it is. And then also with the 340, it's maps. I mean, typically I could have put maybe illustrations too, because I think there might've been other kind of pictures, but I just put maps. But so the 340 with the subfield P is also a relatively new addition. I think that happened with that. I think it happened in the edition when they did it in late 2020. And then I think K maybe in the one that they just did in this year, but I'm not sure about when that one came. But so these are just some new things. And what we think what they're trying to do is maybe get rid of the 300. And that's why they're adding all these 3 X's and 3, and now it's like some 3 X's. But it's a long process. But
so most of the information in the 300 field is reflected in the 340 fields, right?
it is.
Okay.
It is. Yeah.
All right. I have a question.
Okay.
I know nothing about map cataloging, but so I noticed on the Billerbeck map that has an ISBN, which we can see in the screenshot. So do most maps have ISBNs, or is that kind of an unusual thing?
I didn't even notice that it had an IS. Oh, on my record. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
No,
and it was on the front of the map too.
It was okay. I mean, I cataloged this map a long time ago. This might be maybe the first one I've ever seen. I'm glad I picked it.
That's right. It was a good example.
Yeah. And I kind of picked it because it was a lot of the things that I've cataloged are more like atlases.
Right.
I wanted an actual map.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I picked this one. And it was an added bonus. I thought that it was in German. So
that's right.
Yeah. Now it has an ISBN. So another added bonus to this. Thank you.
Yeah, Christy says atlases, I think, do have ISBNs.
Okay. Well, Atlas is probably, yes, Atlas is,
right.
I don't think I've ever seen a map.
Right.
Obviously this one, but yeah, interesting.
And then Erica asks, are there any recommendations for useful display in the OPAC?
Wow. When we looked at the, let's go back to.
Well, but that also depends on what ILS you have and what.
Yeah, it is. But
what's indexed and what displays.
I think if someone's looking for a map, actually, I think the biggest thing here that if I was looking for a map, I think maybe the double-sided part would be, I would like to know. And I would, of course, most maps are paper. I mean, I don't think that's, and the fact that you see the dimensions of it being folded, so that it's a folded map, and that, so it's like it's a street map. So it maybe if you were looking at this, you say, oh, it says it's a city map. So you're going to assume that it's maybe double-sided, but not necessarily. And you might assume that it's a fold-out map, but not necessarily. So I think those things are a good thing to display. So I would just say it would be good to display whatever you can in the 340, since maybe eventually the 300 is going away.
Right. Well, and also that map icon, which I think.
Well, the
they
map
pulled from the
icon,
fixed
yeah. I
fields.
mean, so that for us, that's generated by the 007. So,
Right.
and the 07 and the fixed field, I think.
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah, and I would think most ILSs would display that icon
I think so too.
on those two things.
Okay, we've got another question. Also, why would they want to get rid of 300 as you mentioned?
That's the $1 million question. We think that when they're bringing all these here at IHLS, we think that when they're bringing all these extra MARC tags in, that's duplicating information that you're already putting in. It's because eventually they're going to be getting rid of some of these MARC tags, since when they go to, I can't think of what it's called, bib formats. No, not bib, no.
I can't think of it either. Dang it. Bib frame.
Thank you. I knew. Oh. Thank you, Christy. Bib frame. Yeah. Brain fog there. So that's just our feeling here. Just based on observation, not really any great knowledge.
Okay. And then Cheryl asked, do the 334 and the 340 also apply to atlases?
Yes, all this applies to, yes, any map, any cartographic material.
All right, and then Erica has another question.
Yep.
I know it depends on your users, so this is a tricky question, but still curious about recommendations. Thank you. So that was just kind of a follow-up to her other question. And then Christy asked, so the 300 going away, does that just apply to maps or to all records? That would be all records.
It'll be
right?
all records, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
Edie says, I think it also has to do with linked data.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, Edie's correct. That, yeah.
But as slowly as the
better.
frame has been working and moving along, I don't know that that change is going to happen anytime soon. Just my own opinion. Just a reminder, our next online with the CMC is December 16 at 10, and noteworthy notes at your service. So if you haven't registered for that, you can register in L2. Cheri will upload her presentation slides with the notes on L2 after the presentation is over. And does anybody else have any questions in relation to maps, map cataloging, or we can also take just some general cataloging questions. Yes, and definitely thank you, Cheri. This is a really helpful presentation. And someone said very informative.
Yeah, there's a lot of differences in a lot of the MARC tags that have just come out with that September release. So you might want to take a look at that. We did a presentation just within IHLS about them, but there are a lot of different tags that are being added and revived. So, or not revived, revised. So you might want to take a look at, I think it was in that last release that was September of 2021.
Sorry, I was just typing. Mary Kelly asked about the December 16th online with the CMC.
Yes, this is my last presentation.
Yes.
For OC or for online with the CMC.
Yep.
I have one more local one Thursday, and then that's it. And that's the day to celebrate.
For you, maybe. Yeah. So Cheri's retiring in January. So we strong-armed her into doing 2 of the ones this fall. So thank you very much for that. I know it's, most of you probably don't realize how much work and time it takes to make these presentations, but it does. And I know how much time and work it takes. So thank you, Cheri. Totally appreciate that. Okay. We just have a bunch of people saying congratulations, and somebody put the crying emoji up.
Well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Oh, and Bobby Perriman says we're going to miss you, Cheri.
Thanks, Bobby.
Okay, last call for questions, either on map cataloging or just general cataloging questions. And again, you guys should be able to unmute yourselves. Hopefully I checked the right thing in the control panel. Joyce says, happy retirement, Cheri.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, if there aren't any other questions, hopefully we'll see all of you on December 16th. And as always, we will record these and post the recording on L2. So I'm going to stop the recording now.